Hello! Today I'm doing something that I'm very excited to do because I have yet to do it on this channel, on the internet. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm going to be reading everything from my jar of books. Basically meaning I'm going to be saying every single book that I read this year. It's gonna be intense. Let me get my Jack Skellington pen out of there first. Don't need that. This is my third year doing a jar of books. This is the exact same mason jar and the exact same paper with the exact same words on it as it was 3 years ago, as you can probably tell from the deterioration. I don't know where this idea came from 3 years ago, but basically what I do is every time I finish a book, I just, let me get one out. I take a little slip of paper, write the book on it, throw it in here, and then at the end of the year, I read all the books I read. It's really fun and really cool. So I decided that this year, why not do it on camera? That's going to be something. The first year I did this, I read 54 books. The year after that, I read 52 books. But I had a very bad year last year, so I'm kind of giving myself a pass on that one. This year, my goal was to read 60 books, just as it was last year. I don't know if I met that goal. This year, as I'm sure you know, has not been the best of years. And I feel like a lot of people were in reading slumps this year. Like, the majority of readers in our community were in reading slumps, and I was one of them for a big part of the year. It wasn't until December-ish that I really felt my flow coming back and I just wanted to keep reading. The last 4 days of 2016, I read 3 books. That is also thanks to Booktubeathon, but I still did read 3 books in 4 days, which is like the old Bridget coming back, so let's hope for it. I don't know how entertaining this video will be, but it will go by pretty fast because I'm just going to read each slip and put it down, and then we'll be done and we can count them up at the end. Let's shake it up. These will also not be in order from when I read them. Some of them have dates on them, the majority don't, but actually my New Year's resolution is to write the dates on every slip of paper I read for the date that I finish the book. So we'll see how that goes. The first book I'm pulling out of my jar of books is Golden Sun by Pierce Brown, and I actually finished this July 11th, 2016. Next, Salt to the Sea by Ruta Sepetys. Lights and Chimes and Mysterious Times by Emma Trevenay. I read this July 20th, 2016. The Ask and the Answer by Patrick Ness. They're all coming out. The Copper Gauntlet by Cassandra Clare and Holly Black, which I finished July 20th. Booktubeathon was in July, so there's going to be a lot of July books in here. Gemina by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. Sometimes I put a bunch of hearts next to the name if I just love the book so much. I just can't help myself. I need to show my love. So this one has hearts on it. Are you interested to know which ones have hearts on it? I don't know. Is that interesting? The Name of the Star by Maureen Johnson, which I finished July 9th, 2016. This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab, which I finished July 11th. I dropped it. Ugh. Fell really far. The Winter's Curse by Marie Rutowski, which I read July 13th. These are literally all from July. Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo, which has a bunch of hearts next to it. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows by J.K. Rowling, which I read February 3rd, 2016. Last Christmas I was doing a reread of the whole series, and it kind of spilled into 2016 a little bit, so what are you gonna do? The Rose Society by Marie Lu. The Order of the Phoenix by J.K. Rowling, which I read January 16th. The Young Elites by Marie Lu, which was the first book I read this year. A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. It's Kind of a Funny Story by Ned Vizzini. My hand doesn't fit. All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony DeWare. A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab. Tell the Wolves I'm Home by Carol Rifka Brunt, which I read June 27th. Shadowhunter Academy by Cassandra Clare. Front Lines by Michael Grant, which also has a bunch of hearts next to it. Empire Storms by Sarah J. Maas. City of Thieves by David Benioff, which I read July 15th, and has a lot of hearts next to it. A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas, accompanied by a lot of hearts. I wrote that one down twice. That happens sometimes, because I don't always put the slips in right after I read the book. I do them in like a big group, so the last 3 or 4 books I read, I put them all in. Sometimes I overlap. I forget if I put the slip in or not. Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albatrelli. I always say her name wrong. Oh my god, we're down to the last 3. This isn't a lot of books. Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. And Furthermore by Tahira Mafi. So I'm not done quite yet. Something else that happens a lot is I'll completely forget to put a book in. So I'm going to do some investigating on which books I forgot to put in there, which is my least favorite part of doing this. It happens every year. And I'll get back to you. I forgot a lot of books this year. I have all these lovely extra cards. Look at this. So we have Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close by Jonathan Safran Foer? The Night Circus by Aaron Morgenstern. Like, the weird thing is, I remember putting some of these in the actual jar, but now they're not there. What happened? And I Darken by Kirsten White. Milk and Honey by Rupi Kapoor. Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. And Three Dark Crowns by Kandar Blake. These were all the lovely books I read. Oh god, it felt. Now, the fun and stressful part of counting them out. I mean, this year I've gone more lenient on myself, I think a bit, just saying you don't always have to count the amount of books you read. But it's fun to count the amount of books you read. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh god, this is number 16. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Oh my god, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. Wow. That is the lowest I have ever read in a year. And this is not to make you feel bad at all if you read 35 books. The thing is, I just set a very high goal for myself, and it's always disappointing when you don't reach your goals at all. But I have to admit, not only was it not a very good year, but I was in a reading slump like the entire year until December. It was really bad. The only time I was excited to read was for Aquamath and Lady Midnight. Those were the only times I felt like picking up a book and really reading, other than Booktubeathon in July. And these aren't excuses, this is just more of a, this is why I don't think I did very good. So, how does V.E. Schwab come out with like 5 books and then also read over 100 books and go to constant events all over the world? It's like, how does she manage it? I need tips. She needs to teach classes on time management. Either way, these are all the wonderful books that I had the privilege of reading this year, and I cannot wait for a new year of new reading challenges, new reading goals, and more books. So, I hope you enjoyed watching this. Let me know how many books you read this year. I'm honestly really, really curious. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye!